the decision by the government of India to nominate me for Secretary Generalship of the United Nations. Dr. Manmohan Singh, as Prime Minister, had sounded me out on that in September 2005 when he came to New York for the UN General Assembly. But for various reasons, the government had not proceeded with that idea. And by June, I had written off the possibility that would ever happen because the elections were going to be starting imminently. To my surprise, I got a call from the then Foreign Secretary, Shyam Saran, saying, "We're announcing your name later today," which kind of took me aback, but there it was, and I leapt into it. It was a turning point in two ways. First, I had spent 29 years almost at the United Nations in the self-effacing role of an international civil servant. Yes, there was diplomacy. Yes, I had the opportunity to rub shoulders with and shake hands with some of the most famous figures in the world, presidents and prime ministers included. But it was very much as a figure, as part of a team, part of an institution, and the role itself did not privilege individuality. It was about representing the institution and the ideals of the United Nations. Suddenly, I would be projected as this individual candidate, not only standing up for the ideals of the UN, but doing so on behalf of a government, of a country, and seeking, therefore, to lead that institution. That was itself a major turning point. And then the turning point that occurred when the race was conducted and lost, because for me, obviously, I'd spent my lifetime at the United Nations. I joined at the age of 22. And I had felt in many ways when this offer came from the government of India, that it almost was a culmination of all the work I had done in all the key fields the Secretary General needed to be familiar with. I had worked at the UN in the political domain, in the peacekeeping domain, in the humanitarian domain, working for refugees, in administration as Under Secretary General of the largest department of the UN, in communications, in management. And all of this I felt had equipped me in an unusual way for the job. But when I lost the race, in the realization, of course, that these jobs are not about the most convincing resume, they're about a political vote in a political institution, the Security Council, and political choices are made by governments. At that point, it was a turning point because the career on which I was sort of smoothly coasting for 28 years at that point, 28 and a half years at that point, was suddenly going to be ending abruptly when I was just past my 50th birthday. And that's not a time when normally you ideally want to be looking for a new job. So suddenly I realized that I would have to reinvent my life after that turning point. And that process of reinvention took a couple of years, but it did mean that I had another major turning point as a result of that decision to contest for Secretary General.